everybody, I'm Mary Beth Wright, and today I will be demonstrating how you can use a VVWA graphic organizer in your classroom. Since I'm a middle school math education major, I will be demonstrating how you can use that in an 8th grade classroom, specifically teaching graphing linear equations and systems of equations. The state standard that goes along with the lesson that I will be using this in is to create and identify linear equations with one solution, infinitely many solutions, or no solutions. The VVWA is a verbal and visual word association graphic organizer. It's a 4-square organizer that helps students gain new vocabulary through visual aids and personal association with the word. With this specific lesson, students may be introduced to vocabulary words they have never heard before or aren't that familiar with, like intersecting, parallel, and coinciding. The steps for this graphic organizer are first to write the word, then to draw a visual representation, the definition, and then a personal association or characteristic. Those don't have to be done like specifically in that order. Sometimes it may be helpful to do the definition before the visual representation. If a student has no idea what the definition is, they won't be able to draw the word. The visual representation and personal association helps create some familiarity with the word, so the student will be able to use the word throughout the unit, especially with these words, to help them solve the system of equations. This is especially great with lower level students or students that are English language learners who may not understand textbook definitions. So we're just gonna jump right in. This is what the graphic organizer looks like. You have your word, your visual representation, the definition, and then your personal association or characteristic. So the first word that we're gonna be using is intersecting. The definition of intersecting would be when two lines cross. The visual representation, you can do something as simple as what that graph would look like, what the definition is, or anything that can help the student remember. A personal association or characteristic, when two lines cross, that can be like a 4-way stop with roads, or two hallways meeting. Using any example that the student can grasp and that would help them learn. And then everybody's doesn't have to be the same, so if a specific student thinks of something else, like they can use that. The whole class doesn't have to use the same example. All right, my students, thanks to COVID-19, I don't have actual students, so I've asked my mother and my grandmother to help me. So they will be doing this next one with me. I'm doing the I do, we do, you do. So I just did the first one. Now we'll do the second example together, and then I'll have them do the third word on their own while I monitor, as this is how you would do it in your classroom. So the second word we're going to be doing is parallel. Okay. What is the definition of parallel lines? Anyone?
Two lines running in the same direction.
Okay.
That never cross, right?
Mm-hmm. That's the key to parallel lines. They never cross.
They never cross.
So what do parallel lines look like? You show me with your hands, arms, body. That way? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And a personal association or characteristic?
Railroad tracks.
Railroad tracks. Mom, anything else?
An interstate. cross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although when you have those diverging diamonds, they cross. So.
Mm-hmm.
Ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Okay. So we'll be breaking away from this, and I will have you guys do the third one together. I'll be walking around, helping you, answer any questions, seeing how you guys do yours. Your third word is, I'll write it up here so it's a little easier for you to see spelling. Coinciding.
Coinciding.
Coinciding. Okay. Definition of coinciding. Do you know?
I don't remember. We said it just now. Coinciding. They can do.
You said it earlier, Mom.
Going in the same direction, but
They're occurring at the same time
okay,
in the
at
same direction. Yeah, so they're
time.
basically overlapping.
But they can cross, right?
They're occurring like at the same time, like they're
Moving lines.
yes, at the same time though. So they're like this. They're just
Okay,
basically the same line.
so that's the key, is that at the same time.
Yes.
Okay. What did we say visual representation was?
Coinciding lines are the same line. They overlap. So what does that look like? Basically just one line.
Just one line?
Yeah, because they're overlapping. Yeah.
Just one line. Okay. Just 8th graders confused.
And personal association are characteristic. So there are two lines that are basically going the exact same way.
It can be railroad tracks again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or like a 2-lane highway.
Mm-hmm.
It's one line, but one's going this way, one's going this way, but they're occurring at the same time on the same plane.
Okay, on the same plane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
That was just a
Good
little bit more
job, guys.
confusing than I thought it would be.
Yeah, coinciding is an interesting word.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, just lost definitions for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. For an assessment for this, typically you wouldn't use this as like a summative assessment or honestly anything for a grade really. I would do this at the beginning of a lesson to introduce vocabulary words. You could use this as just like a 5 to 10 minute like pre-test, kind of like I did. I didn't really give them the definition. I kind of just had them guess with the word like coinciding. Maybe a little bit difficult for like middle schoolers. But I would just use this more just a formative assessment, have them work on it themselves, walk around the class as I did, and really just gauge them that way. I wouldn't collect the papers. I would let the students keep them. That way they have a reference since they'll be using them throughout the unit. And that is the verbal and visual word association graphic organizer.
Thank you, Mrs. Wright.
Do you guys have any questions for me?
No.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Okay.